the markets are artificially propped up. Things are going to get worse because Germany revises economic forecast, predicts recession in 2024. No shit. U.S. budget deficit rises to highest level, to $1.8 trillion. It's nearly $36 trillion now. The Commerce for a Responsible Federal Budget, a nonpartisan group that seeks lower deficits, reported last week that Trump's plans could cost as much as $15 trillion in a decade, and Harris's economic plans as much as $8 trillion.
Global geopolitics is at a boiling point, and experts fear this could end Western hegemony over the rest of the world forever. On Wednesday, Germany's economy ministry announced that the German economy is expected to contract by 0.2% in 2024, making it the only G7 member to report a contraction for 2 consecutive years. The German government had previously forecasted a 0.3% growth for 2024, projecting a recovery for the economy in the year's second half, which failed to materialize. Germany's economy was already the weakest among its large Eurozone peers and other G7 countries last year before the ministry's announcement. This contraction cements the same position for the second year running. While other Western countries are not recording economic contractions like Germany, their economies are far from being completely out of the woods. The United States, for instance, just racked up a budget deficit of $1.8 trillion for the fiscal year 2024. A pretty high deficit for a nation that's neither at war nor in a recession. According to popular trend forecaster and publisher of the Trends Journal, Gerald Celente, these are all signs of a coming collapse, the end of an era for the Western world, and the birth of a new, relentless, dominant power from the East. In his recent video titled "Prepare for False Flag Before U.S. Election," Gerald shares some disturbing trends about the global economy, noting how the global economy is faltering heavily under the intense mismanagement and recklessness by those at the helm of affairs. Gerald warns that as these events heighten, only tangible assets like gold and silver will survive as the global economy is reduced to rubble. We will present clips from Gerald's video, but before we do, please take a little time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications bell for more videos like this. We appreciate your support and hope you enjoy the video.
Oil prices went up because more fear about the ramping up of the Israel war and more talks about attacking Iran. And as we've been saying now since one of our top trends for 2023, long forgotten, which the mainstream media will never talk about, is our trend forecast that 2023 was the beginning of a Middle East meltdown. And now it's melting down big time. The Israel ramping up the war against Lebanon, bombs away over Syria, and more talk from the United States and Israel about attacking Iran. So oil prices went up. And gold, it's around $629 an ounce. Again, almost up $600 from when we made our top trend forecast, a golden year for gold. And crypto's hanging around that 60,000 mark. It's still in strong territory. At this point, we still see a stronger upside than a downside. And I got to tell you, the downside of gold has not been big at all. And usually you have these big fluctuations. It just hasn't happened yet. And so that's very positive for gold. And then they had the inflation numbers came out, and they're saying that it's better than they thought. The consumer price index was up 2.4% last month from 2023. Of September, and it's down 0.1% from August. But when you look at the numbers, for example, a lot of what brought it down was oil prices. Oil prices went way down, and now they're going way back up. But, you look at it, example, egg prices rose by more than 8% from August to September, and they're up 40% eggs from September 2023. And you look at, other things like price for motor vehicle insurance increased from August to September, only 1.2%. But from last September, it's up 16%. So these inflation numbers are nothing more than government.
Warning, bullshit alert.
Yeah, it's not reality. Prices have gone up, and now they're saying they're not going up as fast. But look what they are. Again, you look at automobiles. The prices of them have gone up, but they've gone up a little bit. Gasoline prices declined. Where did I have the automobile? Inflation has pulled back significantly from the pandemic era peak of 9.1%. Yeah, but it went up and things aren't going down. It's all there for everybody to see. So that's it. I mean, inflation numbers are down, but prices are still way up. Like the average price of a car now is almost $50,000. And you're looking at your median household income, and that's like more than two or more people working. It's only about $75,000. So yeah, prices aren't going up as fast as they were back when they pumped all that cheap money to fight the COVID war. But prices haven't gone down in reality. Chinese stocks plunge on stimulus doubts. Again, we have a whole section in your Trends Journal, Spotlight on China, what this means. You're looking at China's housing market. It's oversupplied by 60 million units, according to Bloomberg economic estimates. 60 million extra units.
The current situation in the Chinese economy is a premonition of what's coming for the United States if immediate and appropriate steps are not taken. On September 24th, the People's Bank of China announced a large monetary stimulus package, as well as other quantitative easing policies, including lowering reserve requirements for banks, cutting interest rates, lowering mortgage rates, and introducing policy measures to support the equity market. Though the Chinese stock market recovered briefly days after the announcement, it is evident that the stimulus package, the largest since the pandemic, has barely made a dent in the economy. On Saturday, China unveiled a fresh batch of fiscal stimulus measures to revive growth, but didn't give specific figures. However, experts are worried that these measures will not make the big bang needed to put the second-largest economy back on the growth trajectory. The further you print and devalue your currency, the more massive the next round of printing has to be to make even a small dent in the massive problem that has been created. Like the situation China is in at the moment, experts are certain that the next big print in the US will far outweigh the pandemic easing measures and the four post-2008 QE rounds combined. Let's get back to Gerald's video.
So the markets are just artificially propped up, and the economic growth is going to be, not what it was. And it's going to hurt a lot of the luxury product markets. That's big. And also the exports from Europe going into China. And that's going to get worse because they're ramping up the trade war. They're putting all these, again, agree, disagree, like it, don't like it. That's not what we do. We say what is. And as for the trade war, they're putting all these trade sanctions on China. China's retaliating. China steps up trade war with EU by imposing brandy tariffs. China will impose provisional anti-dumping measures on EU brandy imports, escalating the trade war. Again, this is just the beginning. Again, payback's a bitch. So the markets are artificially propped up. Things are going to get worse because Germany revises economic forecast, predicts recession in 2024. No shit. How long have we been writing about this in the magazine? And what's so important is Germany is the largest economy in Europe and the third largest in the world. And talking about what's going on in China, they used to export a lot of products, particularly automobiles, before the EV craze began in China, and a load of luxury items, which are way down in sales because the Chinese people have gone broke because of 3 years of zero COVID policy that destroyed the lives and livelihoods of hundreds of millions. So what does it mean? In the United States, credit card balances have become costlier. The average credit card interest rate is 21.5% in May. Isn't that nice? Hey, the mafia, they're terrible. Hey, the mafia, you don't want the mafia. Oh, the mafia, you mean the banksters? 22% almost average, they go up to way higher. It's a crime syndicate. And what did they get? The average balance that people carry was around $6,300 in the second quarter, up 31% from the same period in 2021. Isn't that nice? A mobster gang. Oh, you see that TD Bank? They got fined $3 billion or something for letting drug money go through. But nobody goes to jail. But you go to jail if you go 5 miles over the speed limit and they pull you over. Yeah, we're drunk driving. You're 0.1 over the. But hey, Jamie Dimon, 5 JP Morgan Chase, 5 felonies. They don't go to jail. The TD Bank scam, they don't go to jail. It's a crime syndicate running the country. And the banksters are the biggest members of the crime syndicate. U.S. budget deficit rises to highest level to $1.8 trillion. It's nearly $36 trillion now. The Commerce for a Responsible Federal Budget, a nonpartisan group that seeks lower deficits, reported last week that Trump's plans could cost as much as $15 trillion in a decade, and Harris's economic plans as much as $8 trillion. We got stupid political pieces of shit running the fucking country. Look at a $36 trillion debt, another $9 trillion going to Israel to keep their genocide going, another $9 trillion to Ukraine to keep their genocide going as the country's rotting in front of our eyes, and then printing up all this fake money backed by nothing and printed on nothing.
According to a new report from the World Bank, China's economic growth is expected to slow further in 2025 despite a temporary boost from recent stimulus efforts. The global financial institution projects that China's growth rate will fall to 4.3% in 2025, down from an estimated 4.8% in 2024. The 2024 figure marks a slight improvement of 0.3% from the bank's April forecast. Beijing introduced a series of stimulus measures that briefly lifted investor confidence and triggered a stock market rally, though that momentum has since faded. While these stimulus efforts, largely focused on monetary policy, offered short-term support, the World Bank's outlook for 2025 remains unchanged, reflecting ongoing concerns about the long-term challenges facing China's economy and the global economy at large. Fortunately, these concerns are contributing to higher gold prices and higher price predictions for the yellow metal. Several major U.S. banks have repeatedly increased their projections for gold in 2024 to match the metal's surprising performance through the year. Experts like Gerald Celente believe there's more to come, with gold prices projected to reach at least $3,000 before the end of the year. Please share your thoughts on the video in the comments section below. Also, ensure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications bell for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.